Hey everybody, Brian Florica here, and welcome back to another episode of Sketchbook B. Today I have had another opportunity to do a house sketch. We just moved some clients in to one of our homes at my full-time job, and I thought it would be kind of fun to take you through my whole process. And now I have kind of a 2-camera setup going, so hopefully this will make it even better as I kind of explain my process as I'm going through and just kind of making some notes of certain things as I go through this whole process. So we're going to get into it right now. Hope you enjoy it, and yeah, let's get started. I'm going to be doing a bungalow, so I'm just going to start kind of roughing things out. Now I have my image up here. I went to the site, took some photos of this house. I also did the working drawings for this one, so I do know pretty extensively what this house looks like at this point. It is a bungalow that we're going to be doing, and like I've mentioned kind of in previous videos on this, I don't use a ruler, and the reason for that, it's not that I don't like rulers or anything. You know, they have their uses when doing drawings, but when I'm doing these, I do like to maintain the sort of sketchy vibe, and that's kind of what I'm trying to go for here, is that, you know, I don't want it to seem too rigid. I find when I start using rulers, things just get too structured, and it makes it really hard to kind of get any life in the drawing. It's just kind of my opinion of it, but I like to kind of keep some looseness that you can only really get from just kind of doing it by hand, and there's a little bit of, you know, unevenness to the lines and that kind of thing. Personally, I really enjoy that. I'm gonna shift things down a little bit. Sometimes that happens. I get all excited to start sketching stuff in and then realize, you know what, it's not even really centered on the page. Rookie mistake. Okay. Yeah, this is feeling better. It's a little more square on the page. I like that better. If any of you are wondering, I'm just using a regular H pencil. I've got sort of a set, everything from, I think, 9H all the way down to 9B, hard all the way down to soft leads. And yeah, for doing this kind of roughing stuff, I like to err on the side of being a little bit harder of a lead than the typical sort of HB pencil. But not so much so that you're almost like scratching the paper as you do it. I won't be able to go into any kind of super high detail just because of the size of the drawing. I work at 6 inches by 8 inches typically, with really almost all of my marker drawings, and there's a few reasons for that. One, I'm just not at a point yet where I'm comfortable working at a gigantic size, but also because these Copic markers that I use are pretty expensive. They're just about $9 each. So yeah, I try and, you know, conserve as much as possible, and I've been really happy actually, like with the way that it works out on these sizes. You know, all of my October pieces from this past October were done on this size, and I've been really happy with even the finished pieces, like it's still a good enough size to get a nice finished piece on. So I'm not really thinking I'm going to be switching that up anytime soon. I like working at this size. You can kind of see the whole thing right in front of you in context, and you're not so zoomed in on a big sheet when you're working that you kind of lose sight of the whole thing. You can always kind of see the whole thing, so I find that kind of helps me out. This is one of the things I do just to kind of clear out the drawing and keep it more tidy, is I kind of just add a fence, even though there isn't actually one there in this image that I have here. Just kind of pretend that there's a fence there just so it kind of covers up junk in the back. There are some trees kind of back here, and I'm thinking maybe I will kind of add some of that. But kind of a lot of them. I don't want that to kind of take over, but at the same time I think it could be kind of nice to have a little bit more than just sort of the sky that I typically have. That's just kind of, I don't know, I don't mind them. I like doing the skies, but I feel like it's a little bit boring. This one has the potential to have some unique things about it, so I kind of welcome that. I might lean into that, but we'll see once I sort of get down to it later on. Please, folks, give me some feedback on this video format. Something I'm just kind of trying out. If you enjoy sort of this more almost like real-time coloring and drawing and stuff, please let me know in the comments. Give me some feedback so I know kind of which way to go in the future. If you like this drawing, please feel free to give a like on this video. It really helps me out with channel stuff, and you know, I'm hoping to grow the channel more this year. I've got some really fun projects coming up, a few that are going to be coming out hopefully within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I'm really excited about, and I've been working really hard on, so be ready for those, keep an eye out for those, and yeah, if you're finding yourself coming and checking out my videos pretty regularly, then please consider subscribing to my channel and helping it to grow. I'm very, very thankful for the 38 people that have done that for me and joined our crew here at Sketchbook B. Thank you so much to all of you for your loyalty. I appreciate it so much. And yeah, I didn't hit my 50 subscriber goal last year, but that's fine. You know, it's a grind on YouTube, I get that. But if you want to help me reach that goal this year, then please do subscribe to my channel, hit that big red button. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so this gets us through the penciling stage, and so usually in the top corner here I write welcome home, and then over in this upper corner here I'll put the address, and because these are move-in gifts for these clients, so I actually give them the original piece of art as something, you know, as that we include with our thank you letter for the purchase of their home from us. And yeah, I think it's just a neat little thing to do to kind of make it personal for them and tell them that we appreciate their business. It is, after all, a pretty massive purchase that they're making, so we're grateful that they do it with us. So, moving on now to the inking phase here. I have, I'm just going to jump right into it here. I'm using a 0.2 micron pen. I've been finding lately, actually, I really like the 0.2 for doing stuff like this. Especially just on the first pass. You can always make lines thicker afterwards if you need them to be, but right off the bat, just start in with something that's a little bit more fine. And I am trying to make these lines as straight as possible, but I am still doing it freehand. So some of that natural hand wobble will come into it there. It's actually kind of hard to talk and draw at the same time when you're focusing so hard. I found myself a lot of the time just like holding my breath on some of these lines. Literally holding my breath. Because I'm just trying to make sure that I get them straight. Now some big decisions. Okay, first, actually, let's do these little dogs. No, you know what? No, I'm gonna wait on the dogs, actually, because what I'm concerned about is that if I draw them in the pens really heavy, then the problem that I'm going to encounter is that when I go to put the glass over top, it's not going to look like the dog is behind the glass. It'll look like the glass is behind the dog, and that is not what I'm going for. So I'm just going to let the color show the dog and maybe do some just little touch-ups if I need to. We'll see how that kind of comes together. Let's see. Yeah, let's get some trees in, I think. We'll go with some trees. And I'm kind of moving where the trees actually are, simply because I'm trying to fill these sort of void spaces on the sides. as you can see here, what I'm doing is just drawing in little portions of trunk and branches and whatnot. Yeah, I think on the sides will be enough here because there's not a lot of real estate up there for the sky, so I'm gonna leave that open so that I have room to kind of do some clouds and that kind of stuff, which I do enjoy. So there we go. Inking at this point is pretty well finito. Okay, now for the next stage, which is the coloring. This is where it all comes together. And yeah, I'm gonna start off by just kind of layering in some grass and stuff. I think I'll start with that. I've added, as you can see here, my little test sheet. And I always do this. I never throw out any marker paper because I always use it for stuff like this, testing colors or, you know, that kind of thing. And it's really good to have just some extra stuff handy because it's nice to see how the markers perform on actual like this is actual marker paper that I've trimmed off of other sheets or whatever. And I like testing on marker paper as opposed to just whatever other kinds I may have lying around, because that way you can know for sure how the markers will perform on this kind of paper. It's a little bit thicker, stuff blends better, and you get a better sense of how the colors will show up on real marker paper. So I have kind of a drawer full of this stuff. I don't want to like individually outline each one, but just because this isn't that kind of a drawing where there's that level of detail. But I'm just trying to create the illusion of detail. That's something that I've been appreciating more and more lately with some of the artists that I've been looking at for reference and stuff. That's something that they keep referring to over and over again, is that you don't necessarily want to show every single little thing. It's more about achieving the illusion of detail. Again, I kind of like this loose style, so I don't get too uptight if I go over the lines a little bit. I just try and, as long as it's not too bad. If it's really bad, I'll take my Colors and Splendor and try and kind of work it into the paper and sort of fix some of that. But if it's not super bad, then I'll try to kind of just kind of leave it, and maybe I can cover some of those mistakes with my markers or my pens and stuff at the end when I go back around the edges and kind of tighten everything up on that sort of last finishing pass. Next step here is let's do these dogs now. So they have kind of a orangey brown color on a lot of them. So we'll just kind of add that in. A couple of little spots. Okay. And then we have white underneath, and then somewhat of a charcoal-y color. Something like that, anyway, for the rest of it. I actually usually do this with the chisel tip side, but it's just kind of a test. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I can really dig into the paper with the chisel tip side. And help kind of apply more blending pressure. Make sure those kind of work together the way that I want them to. Go back in with a more sort of gentle brush tip side and just finish it up. Make sure that everything's kind of blended together the way you want it to. I do have the really light blue, so I've been using a B05, B02, and B02. Robin's Egg Blue is the darkest I've gone here. And then I have B00 and B00, which is really light. But yeah, I really like the way that looks. It's coming together nicely. So that sky does have that natural gradient. It's always lighter towards the horizon, down low. Darker the higher up you go. So we've got two pretty sickly looking trees here. Let's make those look a little bit better. Right now, in Regina where I live, it's a pretty cold day, middle of April now, and we just got a dumping of snow yesterday. So that's life on the prairies, I guess. But we're doing this without snow on the ground to look a little bit more warm and welcoming. So just being very loose with this, overlapping some of these branches, and what I'm gonna do is go in with a few different shades of green to signify the leaves, and that's why I initially just drop in those branches, just so I have a general idea of where those directions are going for the branches, so that when I add these leaves and stuff, and again, just the illusion of detail, I'm not trying to draw kind of every sort of individual leaf, but just kind of give the indication that there's, you know, a bunch there. It just makes it easier that way, so I know if I have these kind of directional branches, I know sort of where I'm heading off to as I'm kind of putting these dots in of color. Down. I don't know. I'm not sure if I should put some more in the middle. kind of liking it open. I'm gonna have text here and text here. I don't wanna, maybe it's best if I leave the middle uncluttered. I think I will. It's a formula that's worked out fairly well so far on the other ones. So I'm gonna stick with the formula, I think. So now this is the part where I go in and do that little technique I was talking about that I've been sort of adding lately. And it's just, it takes a long time. But I just go in and start doing these little up and down strokes. Very fine, very small. It's almost like little blades of grass. That's kind of what I'm going for. It's, in essence, a little zigzaggy pattern. I'm gonna just layer it in rows across the whole thing. I'm gonna lay this in here and shut up. And I will see you on the other side of this process. Ow, my hand is hurting. That is a tedious process right there. But as you can see now, I've got this sort of grassy effect on there, and I really like how it turns out. I like the way that looks. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I'm just gonna add in a little bit more color to these fences. Just looking a little light. There we go, that's better. Go. One thing remains. I'll do this after the recording. The only thing that remains is to sign it. There we go. And there you have it. So thank you so much for joining me, everybody. Give me some feedback in the comments about how you like this format with the sort of commentary as I go. Let me know if there's any kind of adjustments that you'd like me to make. I read all of the comments that I get, so I can definitely take those suggestions into consideration for future videos. I'm just looking for feedback to get a feel for the direction to take these videos in the future and kind of what works and what doesn't. I'm in the very early stages still of doing art on this channel and kind of learning about YouTube and sort of what folks like to see. So yeah, give me some input so that I know for how to proceed in the future. Thanks a lot for joining me. and I'll put the reveal of the finished piece up for you now. Hope you enjoy it. If you do, please leave a like, and I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.